Hi there, my name is Jack, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about a really important question that a lot of my friends have asked me when they are launching a brand new business. And that question is, who should I use to host my website and how should I go about it? I've seen a handful of different ways, and the most popular way that I've seen people do over the past handful of years is they will hire a designer who will create a website in WordPress. It'll be super duper custom for their business. And the prices I've seen have been as low as $500 to as high as $10,000 to $20,000 for a website. And in my opinion, on the high end of that, you're definitely overpaying for an initial getting your business off the ground side of things. Yes, having a beautiful website is absolutely important. However, when you're first launching a business, most people are going to click on your website. They'll be, yep, contact information, find the phone number, call, done. Okay, that's like the majority of most people's visiting a website is probably about 30 to 60 seconds of how can I find the information I need as fast as possible. So with that in mind, how much should you invest in that website? And I think the answer to that is as little as you absolutely need to get the information back to the person who's actually using your website. So starting with that end in mind, let's think about how we can make sure we launch a website very quickly, that is beautiful, and that serves our customers' needs today and into the future. So if you're taking that approach, as I described, of hiring a designer or even designing it yourself, meaning that you find another template, you restyle it to fit your thing, slap a logo in there, redo some CSS, get those colors to match your branding, apply that theme, rent some space on a GoDaddy server, and launch it. Yeah, you can do that, absolutely. It's a perfectly fine and valid approach, and basically that's the same thing any designer does that you're hiring, although they're gonna have a bunch of tools under the belt and they're gonna have a much better eye for design than perhaps you or I will when it comes to actually creating that website and launching it. At the end of the day though, there's still like this mismatch on like launching a website that a lot of business owners don't really account for, and that's that the designer can only take this project so far, and then you as a business owner, you still have to sort out what the content is for the page. The designer doesn't know that. You need to figure out all your marketing and messaging and the verbiage that you need your website to say. And if you're not a great copywriter, and the designer is more of like a developer-oriented person, they're not gonna be a great fit for that either. So if you're thinking of like how much money you should spend in there, I would almost argue that getting a pretty design is less valuable than putting money into quality copywriting, where someone will make sure that the language you have on your website fits your brand, communicates the right message to your audience or otherwise. So if I were picking, I would not be spending the money on fancy design. I'd be focusing on copywriting. So where would you go then to launch a website? In fact, there's two main approaches that I really recommend, and the use case varies depending on the business. If you're just trying to get a product out the door and you're not a very technical person, then I would suggest using one of those template-oriented website builders. Squarespace is my personal recommendation. I have had a handful of friends launch their websites using Squarespace. I myself have launched a website using Squarespace. The experience was great, honestly. It did the job. It checked all the boxes of what we needed to do, and we were up within a weekend. So in terms of like time from like idea to doing some editing to being live, 72 hours, that's pretty good for actually having something up and running. The alternative approach, and this is more of if you're creating a software product and you're already paying for GitHub for yourself or your team, then GitHub Pages already is included in that subscription. And then from that standpoint, then I'd say, build something that's compatible with GitHub Pages. The most popular way to do that is using Jekyll. Jekyll is a Ruby-based static site builder. What it does is you have a template, just like anything else, and then you create, there's like a folder for posts, pages, and so on, and then you have some static assets where you can throw images, JavaScript, various files that you need on your website. And then with GitHub Actions, whenever you push those changes up to whatever the branch is that you're deploying, for your website, they build it and they deploy it for you. So there's nothing like really from a security standpoint that you have to manage because it's just statically compiled HTML. And That's the big thing that I think a lot of people don't really account for when they're saying, oh yeah, we'll build you a pretty WordPress website and then we'll launch it, and then that designer walks away and moves on to the next project. All the while, your website, as soon as that next WordPress update or whatever the, what blog platform is that you're using, gets an update, now these vulnerabilities start to compile, I guess you could say, or they compound is the right way of saying that. These vulnerabilities increase, and maybe a year or two later, boom, the website's hacked, it's been defaced, and all of a sudden, your website is linking out to products and services that you don't support or otherwise. I've seen this happen a bunch of times. And I think as a business owner, you really need to ask the question, is it worth my time, energy, and money to be investing in maintaining this thing, as in the software updates, doing regular backups for my website, making sure that I've got a backup process that's actually recoverable and testing it? And I think for most people, the answer to that question is a resounding no. So from my perspective, you got two paths. Pick a design-based platform. I recommend Squarespace. I've used them, they're great. Or use a static site builder and launch to GitHub Pages. Either approach will serve your business well in today and into the future, and it's really up to you to decide static versus a pre-done template thing. And then even more so, if you're launching a particular software as a service application, launch that at app.yourdomain.com, and then that's its own little microservice, and your website can be just focused on the marketing and stuff. And that also keeps the lines really unmuddy. I hope this video added a lot of value to you when it comes to how you're going to evaluate how you should approach launching a website. If so, go ahead and like this video. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, or maybe you just want me to make another video and answer a question that's relevant to your business, please comment below. I will do my best to answer that, and maybe I'll even create a video in response to your question. Thanks so much. See you soon.